Hello everyone, this is Gamer with Opinions, and I'm happy to present to you this mod review. It's Europa Romanorum by JonkoXL, another mod that uses the Total War Rebalance 3 mod to get a better experience with the troops. This is Europa 120 AD, and it's a funny twist on it. The general map of the 120 AD is pretty accurate historically speaking. Just a few details that could be argued, but we are totally in an alternate timeline. Hadrian is not building the wall in Britain. He has been assassinated actually just at the start of the British revolt. So the empire is a bit of shambles. It's split into factions. And it controls different areas. We're kind of facing a civil war. Factions like the Seleucids are kind of parts. This doesn't reflect their actual terrain. I'll go in game and show you exactly what we've got here. So of course this is using the 270 Europa map. Again, a port by Ganem, and there's many other modders involved in this, or the work of modders involved with this. This is a real nice example of what collaboration can be. As you can see here, since the Seleucids actually shouldn't even exist in that time period, Junko has just parked them in a far corner of the map, so they are not too disruptive, and they will be facing the Parthians really early. So this is a tall tale order. If you want to start a campaign with this, that's pretty hard. But it does reflect that there could be, in 12080, there could be some remnant of Seleucid influence, tribal mainly. So why not, if you're looking for total historical accuracy in the mod, not the mod you want to play, this is an alternate timeline. So we're gonna go back, and I'm gonna show you one of the faction I do find very interesting in this. This is a work in progress, by the way, so Junko is very, very open on commentaries. I'll be leaving the link in the description to download the mod. And if you have comments, you playtest it or whatever, please share your results or whatever comments you want, either on this page or on the Steam workshop page of the mod. Junko will be answering you, and he will take into account what you tell him about how the mod is behaving, or maybe changes that could be done. So what I wanted to show you is the Greeks. As the Greeks have a very interesting challenge. They are mainly based on the Greek area, right? They are not spread out. We're in 12080, so they have lost their influence in many areas, but we still have this. This would represent kind of the Greek league that has been established by Hadrian. Funnily enough, Hadrian was very Grecophile. It was a reproach that was done to him. So basically based around Sparta, but you're facing the Romans, of course, because Romans' influence was a thing, but it's the Brutii, and the Brutii right now in this campaign, they are kind of stretched out. They are facing pressure on many fronts. They are not as good as, let's say, the July or even the Scipios for a different reason in that mud. So actually, the Greeks they do have a fighting chance of expanding, consolidating, and and they, of course, they control this. Now, as far as troop is concerned, that's pretty standard. We've got the excellent armored hoplites. They're always good. Of course, some cavalry, because, hey, Greeks were not that big on cavalry, but they did have some, especially by 120 AD. The Spartan hoplites, of course, those guys are so good looking, but I mean, the dress is really not what they should be wearing. But hey, kudos for the look. It says the look is nice. And again, armored hoplites here, but let's go into the recruitment. And here you've got the militia swordsmen, and that's the thing that I like. They're getting crappy swordsmen here, but they're getting better swordsmen later. I think here the levy swordsman, and then there's even betters that you will be recruiting either through tavern or another structure. Again, in this mod, like in the mid game one, you can recruit different type of troops from different types of buildings. That goes even up to generals. It depends really on the faction and what you've built. So again, trash and mercenaries, totally logical. Just a quick look. The peasants, they are not as useless as usual, which is a nice touch. And the AI doesn't spam them, so that's nice again. So those of you who likes to play peasants, that's an option now. They are actually decent. We've got the Illyrian mercenaries. So I love this. Like a few mercenaries units available for the Greeks makes perfect sense because the Greeks needed the added manpower. And here are the Greek swordsmen. So as you can see, look at the stats, the total defense, decent armor rating, shield is a bit low, but it's still nice. It's a short buckler, round buckler, so it's not worth more than what it's given as a shield. But you know, I would have maybe I've liked I don't know, maybe later they get the heavier version, maybe with a heavier shield. But that would be constant with what happened in history. The Greek swordsmen, they kind of migrated into a Roman style, but really not fighting with the Roman way. But the equipment was kind of analogous to Romans, except that the shield form wasn't the same because it wasn't designed to be interlocking to build testudos and other formation like the Roman one were. So that's it for the Greeks. As you can see also, just last point, you do have a lot of finance, so that gives you the option of hiring right away the mercenaries and be very aggressive on the Roman maybe, or and the Macedonians. It depends really on the type of player you are. So we're going to go back to the main menu. Again, the balance is pretty nice in the battles. The battles are not quick. I like to use the extension for the extended battles and reduce cost. So it's not for the reduced cost. I kind of like the actual cost of rebalance, but the extended battle is really nice because that way you can really fight with real formation and try real strategies that were historically done by the armies. You do have the time to do it, and the units can actually support the kind of action you need them to do before you can finish your maneuver. I'll be showing that soon, probably with this mod. I'll be making a battle video where I'll be demonstrating the pincer maneuver, the classical pincer maneuver, how you do it in Rome Remastered. So new game, we're going again, and I just want to show you a starting position Roman and some Roman troop at the same time. Uh, this is that's a gameplay choice from Junko. I don't really like the way Roman are pictured in the mud. By 120 AD, they should be way more. Sorry about that thing, but that's my little hard drive is going nuts. There. So as you can see, the map here, so the Scipio has decent territory and it's kind of historical. And they're controlling the Iberian Peninsula, part of North Africa. You know, the old legend that you couldn't win a battle if you, in Africa if you didn't have a Scipio commanding. So you do have some remnant of Carthage, which of course shouldn't exist, but that represents the rebel force. So that's kind of okay. And we already have, of course, our first place where we're going to contend with the Brutii. That's what I'm saying, that the Brutii is kind of stretched because the CPU will not have any choice but to turn on the Brutii pretty soon in the game. So, and if the Greek is aggressive, well, that will cause problem. It's a hard game. So let's go look at the troops, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. So you've got the basic Astati, right? And you've got Velites. By 120 AD, Roman troops were very much auxiliary troops, really. Um, because by that time Rome had come to rely on the mercenary forces, the so-called barbarian forces, um, and the actual true legionary legions were not that many, and they were required on certain hotspots of the empire. Furthermore, it always been a Roman tradition to have a heavy presence of auxiliaries, especially in the cavalry department. Roman were never very good at training cavalry, but early on, with the Iberians, the Gauls, the Germans, well, the Germanic tribes, and the Thracians, they got access to many A type of very good cavalry, and they faced people like the Parthian and the Persians and so on and so forth. So they face cataphracts and stuff. They know, and they even hired cataphracts and horse archers. That's one of the strengths of the Romans. They were adapting as they were going, and if that meant getting a client or whatever, that's what they were doing. Anyway, so I got sidetracked here, but just to say that this is a gameplay decision by Junko. It's not that he doesn't know that fact. It's not that he's lazy or anything. He just went with the easiest solution. Everybody knows Astati. Everybody knows Velites. So this, in his mind, this makes the mud more accessible to newer player of Rome. He will, like I said, it's a work in progress, so he will be doing some redesigning in some areas. We'll be waiting to see that. So overall, the mud is pretty good. If you want a fantasy type of historical, right, this is perfect. It'll give you a good grind if you take most faction. You'll have to grind a bit before you get to a comfortable position, so it's kind of challenging. Otherwise, playing it at hard, very hard. Well, like I always said, it's just extra cheat for the AI and doesn't really make sense. And actually, sometimes it plays in your favor to be very hard. Someday I'm gonna explain the maths of it. So hard if you want a really good challenge. This is a 9, a flat 9, because it doesn't pretend to be a historically accurate mod. Um, uh, so there is some discussion that could be had about how the factions are represented. One of my main beef is Syria. Syria should be, anyways, I'm not going to go there for nothing. The Syria area should be a hot contested place in 120 AD, even in an alternate timeline. And I would try to represent as well the Jewish revolts. So there were many, and Jerusalem has always been a source of unrest and problems. So having that kind of disruptive influence in the mod would be really great. So that's it for this mod review. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Share. Um, Thank you very much to Junko for this mod and for all the good feedback he's giving me. Please go and subscribe to his work on Steam Workshop. Like I said, the link will be in the description. This was the Gamer with Opinion telling you take care, everybody.